I am not sure if I should tell this story. Chances are nobody will believe me, as I no longer have any proof, but I feel for the safety of others, I have to talk about the spy, and why you should be afraid of him, like I am. This story takes place on October 27th, 2020, a few days before Halloween. I was looking forward to hanging out with my friends and doing our annual movie night. On this night, though, I chose to stay home and play Team Fortress 2. My favorite class was the spy. Challenging, but rewarding. He was so addicting to play. I even had the outfit for cosplay at my local game and anime convention, as well as a butter knife so I could learn how to do the flips and tricks. As you can tell, I'm a fucking nerd, but I'm proud of it. Gaming is a passion for me, and TF2 was easily one of my favorite games. During this time, the Halloween event for the game was going on. I was trying to get the achievements and special items that were available that year, so I was playing sniper with the huntsman, primarily so I could kill Erasmus when he showed up. Everything seemed fine until I was killed by a spy. The kill cam came up and it was someone named Spy, no hats or unlocks of any kind. Well, that's embarrassing, I thought to myself. And here I thought I was so good at the class that I ended up getting killed by a new player. At least, I figured he was new, considering his loadout. Oh well, I went about my business and continued to play. I was in the middle of fighting Erasmus and then I was killed by Spy. Again. And it was odd, because I thought I was doing well to prevent him from backstabbing me. Clearly, he wasn't a new player. He was smart about avoiding till I was completely distracted, so I figured, why not play Spy as well? It could be fun to play against someone who obviously knew what they were doing. So I went Spy and played as normal. I went about stabbing and shooting people, trying to find him, so I could go toe-to-toe with him in a spy duel. But I could never find him, so I went around and started stabbing his teammates instead. Just before killing an enemy medic, I was killed yet again. Same player. This guy is good, I thought. His timing was just perfect. I decided to check the scoreboard to see how many points he had. But there wasn't anyone named Spy. I was a little disappointed. I figured he left the server and decided to go ahead and go back to trying to get the achievements again, when I was backstabbed by who else? Spy. And to add insult to injury, there was a message in the server chat that said,
"You are an amateur and a fool!"
I was getting a little agitated. I could never seem to find this guy before he killed me, and I would keep seeing the same thing every time. When the camera zoomed in, a spy with the stock loadout and a smile on his face. Yeah, a smile. Like he was grinning at the fact that he killed me. I decided to just quit and come back later. But I was still a little agitated, not at the fact that he kept killing me, but the fact that I tried to look for him. Even checked the scoreboard for his name, and there was nothing. Who the hell just leaves for a brief moment and comes back to kill someone? I admit, it worked. How would they know I was looking at that particular point in time? It just didn't make sense. I joined a non-Halloween server, deciding to play Badwater, one of my favorite maps for Spy. I was having fun up until I was killed by a spy, and it was him. Again, same look and name, only he seemed different somehow. The texture was changed a bit, his suit seemed darkened due to aging, and his face looked pale. The same thing kept happening. I would try to look for him, and it would still end up being killed, and like the other server, I didn't see him on the scoreboard. He ended up dominating me, and I saw a message in chat again.
"I'm going to gut you like a Cornish game hen."
A little disturbed, I asked my teammates if they saw this guy, or if he was killing anyone. They all said these spies aren't that good, and weren't having any problems, so I asked them, what about Spy? They said they weren't being killed by anyone with that name. While I was typing another message, I was killed by Spy, yet again asked if anyone saw that. I saw this reply. "Do you have bind or something? It keeps saying that you killed yourself." I stopped. I must be losing my mind, so there's a player that only I can see, who I know is killing me, but nobody else is seeing him in game, or his messages in chat, and to everyone else it looks like I'm suiciding. This is crazy. How does any of this make any sense? I said to myself. Then I saw another message in chat.
May I make a suggestion? Run.
Then my game froze briefly and it said I was disconnected from the server. A little creeped out, I decided to join another server. The map was upward. We were still at the first point. I picked soldier and started moving out of the spawn. I checked around the spawn door. Nothing. So I started heading to the front line. Checked my backs once. Nothing. Moved a little further. Checked it again. Still nothing. I decided to rocket jump the rest of the way and then looked behind me as I was jumping. I saw him standing there as I was flying in midair, only for a brief moment, then cloaked and disappeared. I decided to hell with this. I went back to find him and searched above in the tunnels, by the edge of the cliff. Nowhere to be found, so I started moving towards the front line again, trying to check my back as often as possible. He wasn't stabbing me this time. I would check my back every so often and see him just standing there, looking at me before cloaking and running away. I would chase him, but I figured it was pointless. I'd never find him. It was like trying to catch a ghost. No matter what I did, I would never catch him before he killed me. He was toying with me. He knew I couldn't do anything to stop him. Eventually, I gave up looking for him and tried to have some fun, blasting people with my rocket launcher and blowing up. I was having a great time for a while. Then, I was pushing the cart and I was backstabbed again. This time, I was legitimately freaked out. I saw him again, but this time he was zombified. His suit was torn and raggedy, with dried blood on it. His right arm and leg had its bones showing at the knee and elbow. The balaclava was now over his skull. The flesh was gone. It shouldn't have scared me this much, since it was part of the Halloween event, but after everything that's been happening up until this point, I was scared at the sight of this dead spy. I left the server and decided to check my recent players list. Surely there was something there. Every player has a Steam account, right? I looked at the list and there he was. The name was just Spy. The avatar was the spy himself, close up of his face with a twisted and evil grin that went from ear to ear, and his eyes, they had a tint of red in their pupils, almost demonic. I checked the player profile page. The image was still there, that evil smile looking right at me. He had no location, headline, or player introduction. The page was almost entirely blank. I looked at his TF2 stats. He almost had a total of 1,400,000 hours logged in the game. No fucking way. I looked at his player stats. All of his hours were with the spy. He had over 1 million points and his longest life matched his playtime, meaning that this player, whoever or whatever it was, never really died. I did the math, and he'd been playing since October 10th, 2007, the day the game released. I went back to his profile page and the headline had changed.
I'll be seeing you.
I was freaking out. I know that wasn't there moments ago. All of a sudden I heard this loud noise coming out from my speakers, like a siren. Then a blue screen came up. Realizing that my computer had just crashed, I rebooted it. Back up, got to the login. I typed in my password and I was greeted with nothing on my desktop. Nothing. No shortcuts, no background, nothing at all. Explorer was still working. I could still navigate the taskbar, but a small amount of static could be heard from my speakers. I figured then I must have gone to some kind of fake Steam site and downloaded a virus. I decided to do a quick scan of my computer. I, for whatever reason, lost my connection, so I decided to reconnect. I updated my antivirus and malware software and began scanning. I also started up Steam and was getting ready to send a ticket to Steam support. Whoever this bastard was, I was going to report him. This was more than just a typical hacker or something. It was like I was being stalked. I checked my recent players list. His name was still there. I clicked on his name. I got a 404 error saying the page did not exist. I refreshed it as many times as I could, but the result was the same. I closed Google Chrome and decided to check the scan. Suddenly, every program I had open crashed. My taskbar disappeared, the static increased in volume, The black background changed into a horrific image I will never forget. The image of the spy grinning from ear to ear appeared again, but worse. The spy was now a decayed corpse. You could clearly see where bits of flesh used to be. His smile was showing. With some teeth missing, the right side of his face was blown out like he took a shotgun blast to the face. But he still had some bits of his eyeball, where it used to be anyway, while the left eye stared directly at me. It was yellow, with some small red cracks in it, similar to how yours would look if you stayed up for a long period of time. And while this image is stuck on my screen, I hear one of the spy's voice lines booming from my speakers.
I'm coming for you!
Then I hear him laughing, normally at first and increasing in volume, and slowly becoming more and more distorted and twisted, looping over and over, creating an echo in my room. My ears were ringing as it kept getting louder and louder. I covered my ears, but it still was cutting through, piercing my eardrums. I reached for the power cable and pulled it out, shutting my computer off instantly. I've reformatted my computer since then. I had no choice. After that incident, my computer wouldn't get past the Windows startup screen. I had to reset my computer to factory settings just to get it working again. Since then, my computer's been running fine. I've been able to play other games. I told my friends and family that my computer crashed and I had to reset it, but I never told them about what I saw that night. Team Fortress 2 was obviously on my Steam account, but until now, I haven't installed it. I'm downloading as I type, and I hope that by sharing this with you, I'll be able to play it again without shaking. I miss the game, but I can't get rid of this fear I have of the spy hunting me in my real life. I have been having nightmares since then, and they always play out the same way. I come home at night, and as I am trying to unlock my door, I feel a knife being plunged deep into my back. It being pushed down, ripping through my spine. The spy's decaying hand over my mouth and his eye, looking directly into mine, laughing as I bleed to death. And every time I wake up sweating, with my butter knife in my bed.